Welcome everyone, this is Pineleaf Needles and you're listening to LOTRO Players News, where we take a look at the latest news in LOTRO and here at LOTRO Players. And this week we have with us Endang,
Hey, everybody.
Terry Adwin,
Hi, hi.
Maven,
Hey, y'all.
Erithert,
Hello, everybody.
and Carvette.
At your service and your families.
And this week's news is that they started the transfers open for Elindelmir and Estelle. They were open during the main part of the week, so it looks like they closed them down for the weekend so that if anything went wrong, they wouldn't all be caught out of the office, I guess.
Which is a good
Close it
idea.
down
Makes
for the
sense.
weekend?
Well,
Well,
I
the
noticed
transfer
that.
button was still there earlier today.
Well, the transfer button's there, but
Yeah, the
that
transfer
doesn't
button
mean
is
it's
there
going
for
anywhere.
test transfers over
You can
to
copy to Palantir.
to Palantir, but there aren't
Uh,
any open for Elindelmir and Estelle.
Okay. Well, I transferred my guy off at Lindell earlier this week and stuck him on Crick Hollow, so
Yeah.
worked fine.
Yeah,
So
I
I
did
presume
too.
they'll be back up on Monday for those two servers.
Of course, I didn't do it on Monday when everybody else was transferring.
Yeah, I did it Tuesday morning.
Wasn't getting the 3 or 4 hour queues. I waited till Thursday, and it took like a minute.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it took me about 3.
yeah, you didn't want to be first in line there, and because you have to remember, all right, if you're going to do it very early, do it before going to work or something like that, so that when you have this 4-hour ban from the game because it's trying to transfer your character, well, you're not going to be playing during that time anyway.
Well, what I don't get is
Yeah.
why it's taking, like, you'd think it would try to do one at a time or, multiple at a time, but not like a 4-hour wait. That seems kind of weird, how it would ban you for that long. But
Well,
I guess it has to do with sending and receiving to which server you're going to, maybe. I don't know.
Well, that I don't know. I presume it has to do with so many people doing it that even if it took only a minute, it would still take several hours if huge numbers were doing it at the same time.
I wonder if that had any effect on people trying to get the name they wanted. Like if you delete your character that you're going to like if you make a placeholder name or something like that, and then you delete that guy, and then there's like this 4-hour space while you're trying to get this other one over. Somebody like logs on and makes a name character. It'd be really depressing, actually. Nope.
That could be, 'cause I think some people were doing was they'd have the placeholder, they'd bring over the name character while they were both on the same server. You'd
Yeah.
have the tag one, then you just delete the one character and then flip over to the other guy and rename him real quick and be done with it.
Yeah, I think that's probably the safest thing to
That's
do.
what people were talking about doing.
And has anyone told how successful they were at doing that?
I haven't heard anybody QQing about losing of their names, but I haven't really been paying attention.
I have no idea. I don't have to worry about it because I'm the only Terry Adwin on all the servers.
Because you own all the Terry Edwards and all the servers.
That's right.
Same thing with me and Eric there. And as soon as I heard that they were closing servers, I was like, actually, no, it happened before that when I was doing the
did it.
chicken runs.
Yeah,
I
you
think
did it
you were-
for
you were
Chicken Runs.
chicken-
I actually
like,
did it
give me-
last year for Sapiens' Hobbit runs. I went through all the servers and made Terry Adwin.
Yeah, I've had an air threat on every server for a long time. I'm actually the only air threat I've ever found anything in, shockingly enough.
Cool.
All right. Any other things about server transfers?
Just looking forward to see more servers added.
Well, they did have a post saying that it does not look like there will be any new ones added next week.
Yeah, which
Because
is
they're
kind of
doing some
disappointing.
That's
tests. So let's then head on to our store sales. Anything interesting on sale this week?
Well, this week's free sample is a 100% Infinity / Renown game. Use coupon code IRGIR one time per account. That's the week of September 18th through the 24th. We also have 20% off quest packs, bits or coins, 100% XP burst for an hour, and max morale and power scroll. Yay quest packs, yay Mythro coins, because I only ever buy them when they're on sale, because I can't seem to get them to drop in the Hobbit present. I have like 500 on Laurelin, which is the server I no longer play on, really.
Oh, and Laurelin, you can't transfer to the
I
rest of
can't, yeah, I can't transfer to the North American
It
servers.
stinks
Yeah.
when you get like that mega Hobbit pack of Mythical coins
Like,
and you're like on some backwater
"Hey!"
server that you never play on. It's like, yeah, man.
Yeah. So, and then I did want to touch on we've got the Baggins' birthday event that's on for however long it's on, and actually look to see what the dates were. And the Tale of the Shipwrecked Mariner is on this weekend, so you can get an eye patch and some Corsair tunics. And yeah, I have to get my mother's dwarf the eye patch later.
I
Wait a
legitimately
minute.
thought you said Corsair Terminix, like the.
No, tunics.
I thought she said
Oh,
Corsair.
that's better.
Corsair,
Sounded like a medication. I
Corsair
couldn't make it out.
tunic and trousers. Yeah, I need to
Yeah,
stop
that's
trying
right.
to talk so
Our
fast.
Terminator is going to be Jax.
I've maybe had a little too much coffee today,
That
so I
sounds a
actually
lot
had a
better
second
than
cup.
corset eunuch, which is what I thought you said. No, wait a minute. Where do you get the Corsair tunics? Because when I went to the vendor today, all I saw were eye patches, hats, and hats with eye patches.
Yeah, me too. That's all I saw. Where do you get the
They-
tunics?
Drop out of the loot if you're really
Oh,
lucky.
you have to get
Oh,
those
so
out
you,
of
you can't
those
get otherwise, huh?
those
Uh-huh.
waterlogged lockers.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that's where I actually got a
Okay.
I got a hat and patch combo drop.
Fredalis says
Like one of those
he wants an air freshener called Touch of Scurvy so his home can smell like a genuine Corsair ship.
Our mateys
Nasty.
coming live from Kieran's
There you go.
home fragrance line, Touch of Scurvy.
Rusty landlubbers.
That's fantastic. Now, considering how Bilbo Baggins'
Who let
birthday,
that frog in? Good
I know,
Lord.
right? That frog. He
Sorry, I
must
got a frog in my
he
throat.
probably came in on an ocean breeze. There's going to be elves leaving chat very shortly now. Bilbo's birthday is September the 22nd, which, if you're listening to this podcast anytime before September the 22nd, you know it's coming up, which is a fantastic celebration worldwide, really, of Tolkien. This week is traditionally known as Tolkien Week because of Bilbo's birthday on the 22nd. So I would expect his birthday event will probably go sometime throughout this week.
Now,
That'd
what
be
all
my
these
guess.
Bilbo's birthday event? I've never actually had a chance to do it.
It's a lot of riddles, isn't it?
Oh.
No, you go talk to Bilbo in. No, you talk to
Oh, it's
Frodo in
actually kind of
Rivendell.
fun.
And then you go
Yeah,
back
it's
to
kind
the
of-
Shire and you collect stories about Bilbo from various hobbits. And it's actually really funny because
Oh, that's-
each story is a little bit different. They're all speculating on
Yeah.
what Bilbo's doing since his
What happened to
disappearance.
Bilbo?
Yeah, and some
where
of
he
them are-
went. Yeah.
A lot of them are really entertaining.
Yes.
I will be doing that.
It's my belief he
And-
never left. I think still in the Shire.
If you
Sounds
actually
like a
manage
Hunter
to
quest.
collect them all, you get the title of the Chronicler.
And you get
Cool.
a book stand.
Yeah, you get a
Sounds
book stand.
A lot like a Hunter quest to me.
Well, no, because it's all right there in Bywater, Hobbiton and
Well,
You
no,
Bywater.
the
gotta
one thing is
start in
The
Rivendell.
gold rings aren't
Well,
always on.
you know, if you're
so you
level
have to
20, you can
wait
just talk
for
to
the gold
Gandalf
rings.
and get an instant
Oh,
port
that's
to
true.
Rivendell.
That's true. You could get that Gandalf power port. I forgot about that.
Assuming you haven't used it already.
Assuming
Yeah,
you haven't used it already. Yeah, the
that's
trick
true.
is to make sure
That's
you cancel
true,
it
if
as
you don't
soon as
use
you
it,
get to
then you
Rivendell so
should.
you don't accidentally turn it in.
Yeah, that's true. There's that. Okay, cool.
All right.
It's the waiting for the gold rings that drives me crazy on that.
Yeah, they
Because
do
not
that
everybody is.
every hour.
Ugh.
All right. Let's head into the site news. And this week's LOTRO Players News is sponsored by Clean Laundry.
Tired of your best tunic getting ruined by an impromptu orc invasion? One too many at the prancing pony get on your trousers? Treat with Lalia's dye wash and those stains will be gone faster than second breakfast. Lalia's dye wash, perfect for those unsightly post-feast, post-battle stains. Available at Lalia's near you.
You know, that Lalia must be making a lot of money because she's had a couple
She's
of commercials.
raking in
on-
the Mithril coins, let me tell you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
these ads cost some serious money, so she's got to be doing pretty good if she can pay for all these commercials she's been sponsoring.
Well,
Hmm.
seeing how she's wheedled her way into the Tour of Bree now, she must have hit the big
I
time.
know.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's got a lucrative contract with the city
I'm a
of
long
Bree.
way
and
from that.
little
sniveling
bit of
crap that
kickback to the
was
mayor,
on
you know.
down-
Right.
Yeah.
Well, not
Makes
to
it-
mention she's leasing space out to the vault, so she's got a nice little monopoly going on there.
All right. Let's head into the first episode of Tales of the Free Folk. The adventure begins.
Dun,
We
dun,
began an
dun.
adventure, you guys.
Tell us.
We did, and it was awesome. Tons of fun, and Pineleaf may or may not have gotten kidnapped. But no,
Or
seriously, this is our
hydromatic
pen and paper role-playing game that we've been talking about a while that's set in the Lord of the Rings Online, and we had a ton of fun setting up the adventure and the things that happen early on so that we can get on to some real adventures out in the wild. So, should be fun
And
the
I
next
want to
few weeks.
invite all the people that have never played or seen a tabletop role-playing game to come watch and listen because I am a complete noob. So it'd be nice to have people come watch who, like are like me and can cheer for me and say, you're doing okay, keep going, May. So
Yes, if you're looking for high quality RPG pen and paper gaming content, this ain't it. If you're looking for lots of comic hijinks and ridiculousness that
this
is
is
worse
it.
than what we
And
do
a
on the
little bit of
show,
good story thrown in.
come on
Yeah.
in. It's a
Little
great
bit of good
story.
story.
Like I learned that a hobbit apparently by its nature and training can see out of a bag well enough to spot a goblin. Oh,
Yeah,
that's a
it's
little
a
bit of
must,
And
must
that Guardians are as good with their shields as weapons as
Yes, they have.
anything else.
They have.
Absolutely.
They do. That's the shield is part of guardian nature, unless you're two-handing it. But then that's a whole different discussion.
And that even in role play games, the mobs still go for the healer every time.
Well, what did you expect?
I know, I couldn't believe it. But he didn't roll a crit on anybody else except for me. Almost
Well-
killed me. It's all right.
That's because you're an elf and you're squishy, but it's
Right.
okay. Killed her.
He was
saved at the
yes,
last minute.
it was
I
a,
was saved.
yes.
Yes.
it be yeah, sorry about that. It be an act of piracy that he had against you. Which is why today we had the first annual Pirate Palooza.
That was the best segue ever. Ever.
I'm like the record's
Awesome,
stuck.
Patrick.
Somebody hit the table.
I don't even know what to say. That was amazing, Piney.
Wasn't that amazing?
That was awesome.
I think that's
I've
the
been
most
Yes.
enthusiastic I've ever heard you be about anything.
I
ever.
think so.
Right.
Even
Right,
more than
that's right.
skirmishes. Wow.
That's right. Today we had the first annual Pirate Palooza, so therefore, obviously, the article telling you on when to be there is not going to be too applicable because it'll be a bit late.
That's true.
I don't know if anyone here actually participated.
I tried to, but I was too busy, sadly.
I got
had
called out of the
I went
house
to
to
an
go do
extra,
errands, unfortunately, so I missed it.
Yes.
I was bummed. My family does not understand that there's like people online that I interact with. They are convinced that everybody that isn't a live person here in the house is like imaginary. Just
So we're like your imaginary friends.
yeah, you guys
So,
are my
to
imaginary
quote-
friends.
I'm
And
So
I
what you're
talk-
saying
guys.
is
and I
that you
talk to
didn't.
myself all the time.
So what you're saying is you didn't really kidnap Pine Leaf, is what you're saying.
That's exactly it. It
You just
never
kidnapped an
happened.
imaginary Pine Leaf.
It was all in my head.
I believe the appropriate phrase here can be best expressed in a line from Doctor Who's immortal Horton Hears a Who, which would state, "We are here, we are here, we are here."
So
Dr. Seuss.
our show
Dr.
technically
Yes,
takes
that's what it is. Did he
place.
say Doctor
Did I say
Who?
Doctor Who?
He did,
Yeah,
he
you
did
did.
say Doctor Who,
I
but
totally
it's
killed
Dr.
my
You
own
did.
joke. I
Seuss.
meant Dr. Seuss. I was thinking Dr. Seuss. I had wavy trees and fluffy hair in my head. And I don't know why Doctor Who came out. I'm sorry to both the fandom of Dr. Seuss and Doctor Who for that horrible butchering of both. Which is why the laugh that I was expecting did not happen.
I have fluffy,
So
Corner.
I
did we
have fluffy hair
confirm?
on my head.
Did we confirm that this show takes place inside Terry's mind? Is that what we did?
You know,
Absolutely.
that
Oh,
must
that's
be it. And I think
bizarre.
she's mentally impaired tonight.
Is that like being John Malkovich? Is like being Terry Adwin, right? There's actually a movie going on that we are part of.
Well, if we continue
not
this
real.
on long enough, we might actually make Terry think that this really is in her mind.
Right, right.
It's all
That's
in
entirely
your
possible.
head.
Being Terry Adwin.
Then let's get from the shadows into Family Line Part 59, and we have the return of the Family Line.
Awesome!
It's about time.
Now I gotta, and now I gotta get the time to actually read them.
Yeah. I'm really glad to see this return. It's one of our longest running fan fiction series, and it's still awesome, finally.
Then, continuing with the pirate theme this week, it looks like our video highlight is from the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Well, yeah, you gotta have a really poor, grainy video about pirate music on Pirate Day, Pineleaf. Come on.
Oh,
Even better if the
Is it
camera
pirated
sways
music?
back and forth while you're watching it. Dun, 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 dun.
But no, this is a really good adaptation, I think, of the Pirates of the Caribbean theme song. So, really cool, and recommend checking it
Translates
out.
really well to ABC.
Yeah.
Yes, it does. It really does.
Does it? Oh yeah, I
Mhm.
have it actually. Now that I think of it.
and for our other fiction series, we have another chapter of the House of Bjorn, Ekad Dunan.
Oh,
That
Okay.
is amazing.
Does that mean he's going to be going into Moria soon?
I would expect so. He's on his way.
I mean, what else can you do?
See, in Ekadanan, what is there? There's harassing people on Redhorn. There's messing around with the Dunlending camp. Oh, yeah, there's the start of the Moria quest.
saving Bill the
There's, like,
Pony.
There's really not a lot to do after Ekadunan because
Don't
I,
talk to me about Bill the Pony.
I did a Regian recently.
Bill the Pony. We leave him stranded amongst rocks, surrounded by wargs within an inch of his life.
If we ever
Works in
encounter
the
Bill
back-
the Pony on
less-
Tales of the Free Folk, Terry's just gonna log out. It's just,
He's just gonna run up and stab the horse and be done with it. The
I'm
pony's
done.
just gonna be campfire that night.
I'm putting him with
Anybody
Pineleaf's
for some
complaints
pony
about
turkey?
kidnapping him. It's over.
This
Either
stuff
that
is
or we're gonna
still
go, gosh,
flavored.
this is really good meat, Terry. Where'd you get it? And she'd be like, I'm not saying.
It's just like tonight, we're eating on me. I'll foot the bill.
Ouch!
I'll foot the bill. Oh, I saw what you did there. Awesome.
That's
All
one
right,
word
also-
for it.
And also in our fan fiction department, we have The Shield of Honor, Part 3 by the Nimmerdillion Tailspinner.
I think we're all still dumbfounded about what just happened.
Thanks, Carve.
Shield of Honor. That sounds really
You've
cool.
ruined us.
Now every time I go to eat at a restaurant, I'm gonna be going. Somebody pays for me. I'll be like, "That's mighty neighborly of you."
It's so bad.
All
Can we
right,
move
well, let's
on?
trot along. What's the next option?
Oh my god.
the the next item is another episode of Poems of the Pine.
Everybody serious up now because Pinely's going to read a poem.
Saradit steals a seeing stone that was kept by Mordorith, the malevolent lord. We traced her path through perilous ruins, where she unmasked herself as a Marthiel the Chap. 3 men of Mordorith were to march to her aid, but we found them first to finish their plots. We then followed our foe with... Wait a minute, isn't this last week's?
I don't think so.
I was wondering about that, Pineleaf.
Excuse me.
This week's also didn't have a title, but somehow it got published, so I don't know
yeah,
what happened.
that is...
Oh, that's embarrassing. Because I was like, oh, this is a cool poem.
Redo.
Yeah, okay, actually it's the right poem. It's the... Okay, it is...
Yeah, it's the right poem, it's just the wrong...
Yeah, it's the
title.
wrong title. I'll fix the title on this. All right, let's give it. 3 men of Mordorith were to march to her aid, but we found them first to finish their plots. We then followed our foe with fervent strides to Evendim and Anumenas. She seeks to find her severed ring to regain her glory of old. Can we steal her stone to stop her plot before the hidden finds her hand? Ooh.
Awesome.
Really appreciate.
I'm lighting my lighter.
Yeah. I appreciate the rhythm and the canter of Pineleaf's recitation there. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I also appreciate insert poem words here. That was great,
Right.
Pineleaf.
Insert poem words here.
It's your
Insert poems word.
You know, terminology.
Where is that? Oh.
All right.
Carve is all
Okay.
fancy, and I was like, I don't know what to say.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's go to our new player question. Maven, what's up this week?
Okay. So, when was it I talked about? Was it last week we talked about
Last week
potions?
we
or
talked
was it
about
the week ago?
potions.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a follow-on question on potions. Okay, so let's say I have a potion that dispels something that I want to dispel. Fear, stuns, whatever. It says in the tooltip that its duration is 5 seconds and its cooldown is 2 minutes. Do I click it can I click it in the middle of combat? In other words, if it's only 5 seconds, it's not like food where I can eat it and then go into battle, because 5 seconds, I mean, give me a break. Do I click it like right when I'm in the middle, like when I get hit by the fear, when I get hit by the stun, or do I click on it and then rush into battle hoping that effect's going to happen to me?
Terry,
You
did
click
you
on-
go to math class? Because it feels like all of a sudden we're in your mind and it's like all this math stuff that's being thrown at us. It's like a terrible
No, it
word
sounds.
problem.
You know what it
This
sounds
is
like.
not a word problem.
This is
You know what
it
it
could be
sounds
though. I
like?
could turn it
This is
into
a
word
Maven
math.
problem. That's
No,
what
this is a warg problem. I can sense that this is a warg problem.
Yeah, probably.
But
is a
it's
word
true.
problem.
It's true
Talking
on.
about
It's
those
true.
potions that
No, no, no.
my
It's
work has.
it's true. It's true on Freep side too, though.
Yeah,
I have
well,
the same question for Freep
It's
side.
those potions
short
that I
answer-
never use.
Yeah, the short answer is it depends, really. For most things, you pretty much there's no point in putting something on and then hoping for it to happen. So like
Well,
wait
yeah,
till you
that's
get wounded
5
and then
seconds.
click the pot. That type
Okay,
of thing.
Yeah.
so it'll work. So I can still use it.
Yeah.
Like I get the fear, and then boom, I use the pot.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are also in PvP some pots that don't work in combat at all that you have to do before you run in. Especially like there's one, I can't remember the name of it, but it's purple, I think. I'm colorblind. It's a thing, it's on my toolbar. I don't know what the name of it is, but you would use that right before you jump into battle, and it would give
But I'm
you
assuming
like
that has
second.
like a longer duration, right? Not like
It's got like
it's got
5
a
to
longer
10
duration.
seconds, something like that. It's
Oh,
not a
okay.
lot, but it's enough for you to get in and start doing things without getting stunned as soon as you run into battle or something like that. So there are some that you use and just wait until it's time for you to use. Like wait until you get stunned and then pop the pot. But other
And
times, if you know
this
you're
is
about
true
to
in
get
real-
stunned, you can
Right.
use it.
You
Yeah.
can use it. Okay. So I'm assuming this is true in real Middle Earth as well as in the Moors.
Probably.
Right? I mean,
Well, there's probably
Yeah,
different kinds of pots in the Moors than not, because I'm not aware of a open landscape anti-stun pot.
No.
Um,
No.
so
And
it's
that would
just
be
like,
awesome.
if you
That'd be
had
that would be awesome.
a pot that cured your
Especially in
stun in
skirmish.
open landscape, it'd probably have a cool name like Splash of Cold Water or something.
Yeah.
It's sort of like how I consider that one of the most useless skills is the protection from stun skill for
Oh,
the
gosh.
warden because it's a very short duration and the odds of someone actually trying to stun you during this thing with this long cooldown and a short duration is
Oh.
so minimal that I haven't even learned the gambit.
Yeah.
I mean, for something like that, it would be great in the Moors because you do it right as you're running into a group of people. That way you can get your bleeds up and spread around and your gambits going before you get stunned.
Before you get
So
stunned.
you have those 5 seconds of immunity. So you're not running in, you're like, charge! It's like, charge, and you can finish saying charge.
5-hour energy and stun hobbit drink.
Yeah, that should definitely be the next commercial chat room.
That should
Wow.
be 5-hour energy and stun hobbit
Oh,
drink.
that's kind of slightly copyrighted.
Well, I wonder if that gambit was actually created for the Moors. You know, maybe Turbine actually put that in the Warden's
probably.
palette for PvP. Yeah. Anyway, but I know I've had the same question when I've been on Freep side too. I mean, when I've been running my regular real alts. Because I just don't know, when to use them and should I should I use them before I go into battle or do I wait until I actually get hit and then
For
use
the
it?
vast
So-
majority of things, just wait until you need
Okay.
it, and then you use it.
Okay.
Well, let me tell you, if there was an anti-stun thing you could use on the landscape as a champion, Andang and I would have been sucking those down today.
Oh man.
Oh, yeah, the
Really?
Corsairs are ridiculous.
Half trolls.
Yeah.
Corsairs, half trolls, Haradrim, everything in that zone wants. Even orcs now are taking away your weapons. It's
Stun.
like, come
Really?
on.
Knockback,
It's like
Stunning.
disarm.
and then
It's
you
like,
wake
oh my
up, and
God.
then they take your weapons, and then you finish getting those back, and then they're like, "Oh look, stun."
Yeah, I don't have enough skills
Oh
to
my
combat
gosh.
that. It's just ridiculous.
So does the Yellow Line champion with no weapons get to like practice slap keto?
Pretty much.
Slap him to death?
It's just martial arts.
Yeah,
So
just
Well,
instead
no,
of
just
you
shing,
the
shing,
can't
fury.
use
slap, slap.
any of your skills if you don't have any weapons.
You can use one.
You can shout
Guardians
at
can
him.
use one. It's the skill to get back your weapons.
Well, you can use two. One to get back your weapons.
Well, you can
and-
still bash him with your shield if you lose
Yeah,
your,
yeah.
your weapon. He's like, "Dong, son."
Or like
You
war
killed
chant
my
or
So your
son."
guy's shield doesn't count as your weapon?
Oh, It depends on
No.
who's doing the disarming. Is it a most disarms only affect your main weapon, but there are some rare disarms, like the one from the Bearer of Blight, that takes out all your weapons.
Mm. Yeah, most
Wow.
of the time when a guardian loses weapon, it's just your main hand, and you can still bash them with your shield.
You can still shield
Yeah.
bash.
Because on a
And even
champion,
if
I
you
feel like
lose
they
both,
always
you can
take
use
all your
Warchant.
weapons.
Yeah.
Because Pineleaf, you've got shield, like javelin or spear, and like sword, right?
What on the Warden?
Yeah,
It's javelin, spear, and shield.
but you don't have a javelin and a spear at the same time, right? Do you? Do you have a javelin and a spear at the same time?
What do you mean at
Or
the
is it
same
one or the
time?
other? Can you equip a javelin and a spear at the same time, or is
Oh
it one or
yeah,
the
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
his ranged
Oh.
weapon versus
yeah.
his
They
other.
call they in effect. If you look at the artwork, a javelin and spear are pretty much the same thing. It's just how they're being
Right.
used.
Right, but I mean, if
right,
you look at like a
Uh,
champion, for example, you can have 2 swords and a crossbow.
right,
Mhm.
right?
So it's like that.
I mean, this is silly to ask because I have a warden, but it's been a while since I played her. So.
Yeah, yeah. The javelin goes into the range slot.
Another thing
Oh, okay,
about
that's it.
disarms is that those almost always are counted as wounds, and you can actually, if you have a wound pot, you can pop the pot and get rid of the
Oh,
disarm.
really?
Get your weapons back. Yeah, whatever
Oh,
color,
that's good to remember.
whatever color the little icon is, if it's red, you
Right.
can use a pot to get rid of it. If it's got like that red outline thing around it, you can use a
Mhm.
pot to get rid of it.
Does that
Yeah, you
Palantir
can-
thing you were talking about, does that work on Freepside as well as Creepside? That Palantir
Yes, it does.
pot thing?
Yes,
right
it
there?
does.
Okay,
Absolutely.
cool.
Okay.
All right.
We're,
Thank you very much.
all right then. Let's head into our week in Lotro then. Aerithert, what have you been up to?
I soloed Halls of Night Tier 2C, which was a lot of fun and very difficult.
It was awesome
did
to
it-
watch.
Did it
It
live
wa-
on stream, and
It
it
was fun
sucked
to
because
watch.
it's a color-coded instance. I'm colorblind. Stand near the red spirits. Which ones are the red spirits? I don't know. I just stood in the corner and killed everything that came my way.
It was awesome.
Um, yeah, it ended up getting like a 4 gold repair bill after that. So I
Oh,
died.
wow.
Yeah, but it was so much fun. It was a lot of fun, like figuring things out, live and getting suggestions from chat, like, oh, these people do this, and this is what this fight looks like, and it was so much fun. It was so much fun. Also leveled my Vagabond Lore Master. He's up to 15, I think. I
Oh,
think.
Is
Question
this
mark.
the guy we were with, right? The one that looks
Yeah.
like the homeless guy? Oh, okay.
Vagabond Lore Master Gandalfian person. Yeah, he's
Uh-huh.
like homeless looking with
yeah.
a purple.
It's too bad there's not a cosmetic for leaves in your hair, because he definitely would be one that you would put leaves in his hair. Like
Absolutely.
You
old.
put flowers
Broken-
in your hair.
Yeah, the
No,
closest you can get
No,
would be
no,
like a
no, I'm talking
circlet
about
of
old, like
flowers.
dead leaves.
Oh.
Dead leaves. Like he's
I
been
want the
laying on a
bedhead
pile.
cosmetic.
Hey, Turbine Devs, Harvest Math is coming up. That should be one of the cosmetics for Harvest Math.
a dead
Give
leaf.
us
we
a,
get,
dead,
like-
a dead leaf crown.
Yeah, dead leaf crown. That'd be awesome.
And also a
Yeah.
giant pumpkin. Just saying. We need.
A giant as a
pumpkin
pet.
guitars.
As a pet.
Well,
right?
yeah, of course.
As a cosmetic pet. Except it wouldn't go anywhere, right? You
It
just
w- it would
bring
have
and
the
it would just-
vines
it would
to
just
help it move
stay
around.
sitting.
Or could it just like
You'd
bounce
run off and
along
it would
like a
just
bouncing
stay right-
ball?
or like a doormat where it's like tacked onto the doormat where you've got your welcome, and then to the side there's a pumpkin.
Or it could be a consumable that you could use in battle. Like the hunter's decoy, where you'd set it down and then it would blow up. after a
Gee,
certain amount
that
of time.
pumpkin looks a lot like that hunter I was chasing earlier. I think I'll hit that
Then it
instead.
blows up and it stuns him. I think that'd be awesome.
What? Like this
Or you
huge
could have the
shower
pumpkin
of
like roll
virtue.
behind you. Like
And if
I
it's got a
think
jack-o'-lantern face, it rolls
Any
so that you see his
chance,
face. And now
any
you see his
chance
face,
that
now
we
you see his
had
face.
of getting a dead leaf cosmetic is now gone.
pretty much.
Oh, cut this
Yeah,
part
he's-
out, Andy.
My lore master is very ragged, barefoot, all like sleeveless,
Yeah,
very
he
cool.
does.
I was gonna make him look like Gandalf, but by popular appeal, he's gonna start looking more like Radagast.
He looks
I
like
think.
Aqualung, except Aerithur doesn't know who Aqualung is.
Nope.
Look it up.
I also worked a bit, which was a lot of fun. And finally, I passed the 30% mark on the way to rank 10. And I figure at the rate I'm going, it'll take me approximately a third of a year to get there. So I'm not super duper excited. I'm just gonna hey, when I get out, I can get on and work a bit. But yeah, I had a fun week. And dang, what did you do?
Yes, well, Erithert, I finished Eastern Gondor.
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I especially enjoyed the end of the epic. I'm excited to see where that goes. Not wanting to spoil anything, even though we already spoiled something on our review, but we did give a spoiler alert then. Um, it was a lot of fun. I think there were way too many stuns. There's way more stuns in this zone than any other zone in LOTRO, I'm pretty sure. And
That does not sound like fun.
I don't want that to continue. I I don't want
Yeah, it is
the
annoying.
stuns to keep going on because it's
It
just
seems, it does seem almost artificial. Like these guys aren't necessary. Like they're harder to kill, but the stuns is just like, really? Was that
yeah.
necessary?
And I mean, I
They're
played
sort of not
through
any harder to kill if you don't get stunned.
Yeah, basically.
I
They
played
do
through
get harder.
probably 80% of it just this weekend. So it was a lot of stunning.
Wow.
And was not fun. But I did enjoy the story. I especially enjoy the feel of Osgiliath. It feels like nowhere else in LOTRO, and really any other game I've played except for maybe kind of like Shadow of Mordor. It's just this really dark and terrible place, and it feels it really drains on you after a while because it's just this like all the stuff that goes on and like certain NPCs that are doing certain things in there. It's just really dark and definitely
Sounds-
feels like Mordor is going through there. One other complaint I had was that the deeds are really not. They don't feel like that they're correct because they require you to either do group content or they require you to do repeatables, which is not a thing that previous zones usually do. So it was just kind of, it felt out of place on the last two zones on completing the quest deeds because it felt like that it put in more requirements than normal. But overall, Eastern Gondor is pretty cool, and I'd recommend anybody get it. I also barrowed with bingo.
Barreled with bingo.
Barrowed.
Arrow.
Barrow, undead.
Yeah.
Did anybody
White.
else catch
Great
how
dude.
much how much they were making fun of themselves with the quest text in this?
I thought it
in
was
this week?
fantastic.
It was hysterical.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I
I need to
also,
catch up on bingo.
on my lore master, got my war steed. So,
What level is Staff Dang
That
now?
was like harmony there. That was cool.
like 77, I think, somewhere in that range.
Cool.
So I'm
Sounds
getting through things, getting through the epic story. Finally in Rohan, I'm looking forward to be going through the epic story through there because Rohan has a really good story. So,
He does.
Yeah, I'm
Before I
really itching to
forget-
get one of my another alt to Rohan. I really enjoyed being there.
Before I
Working on it.
forget, we were supposed to do our whole educational moment of the week thing.
Oh yeah,
Too
what
late.
did you learn this week, Aerith? And then Dang.
Do things that you don't think you can do because sometimes you can actually do them.
And I learned that stuns are horrible. Carved.
The Andang learned that when it comes to stunning gameplay, he prefers it to be on the environment and the landscape, not on the mobs.
Well, I mean, it'd be
Right.
one thing if I could stun the half troll that's stunning me, but I can't even do that. So it's just like
Yeah, because they're immune to stuns.
they're immune to stuns,
Which
or
is
at least the
totally-
champion horn.
Wow.
So it's
They're
just-
immune to stuns?
They're immune to the
They're immune to
champion stun.
champion's horn, yeah.
That's
Okay, I
fantastic.
guess because I've ambushed enough, I guess I didn't realize they were immune to other types of stuns.
This
Yeah,
probably
which-
did they have a huge cry immunity, but they don't have an immune to whatever kind of weapon stun the
Right, and
Which
so
is-
it's really irritating to not be able to do anything back at them and just have them continually stun you. And sometimes multiply, they'll even steal your weapons and stun you in the same like NPC
Oh,
combat.
that is so annoying!
And it's
That
it's a
is-
nasty
it
stun.
is.
It's a good 30 seconds that you're stunned.
No,
Oh
what
my
they do is
God.
they take away your weapon 3 seconds before they do the induction. Just
Exactly.
before they do the induction to stun. So by the
Yeah, so
time
you
you
can't interrupt
undo
them.
the
Yeah.
get your weapon back, you're stunned. It's like,
Yep.
what?
Yep.
Seriously?
Oh boy.
Yeah, half trolls have the
Great,
pluses of
great,
whatever else
great.
they are, and trolls, and none of the cons. So I think that
Ugh.
they need some weakness.
I am
Um,
not. I mean, I'm not excited
The
about
story
going
is worth it,
this far.
Trish. Something
And Dang's
happens.
feeling con.
that-
Well, I still need somebody to go with me because I'll just die. You know, Hunter. It's not gonna. I mean, Terry. Terry.
So anyway, Carve, what'd you do this week?
Well, my final tally for the last weekend's binge of Rohan leveling, heading across the Entwade into Western Rohan, finally saw me ending Sunday night at level 91
Wow.
in Broadacres, where I was hanging around the town of Stoke doing the quest line there. And I discovered that if you want to mine ore in the Broadacres, you have to look over your shoulder. Otherwise, you are going to get ganked by the Dunlending horde that patrols that entire northern area. Broadacres is not my favorite zone right now, simply because that stupid warband has killed me like 4 times when I'm bending over to pick up a shiny rock or a little bit of wood for my crafters, and I look up and I go, horses, ah crap, I'm dead again. And it's just that fast. They swoop up on you. Bam, you're dismounted. Bam, you're dead. What the heck? I'm a guard, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
You
just,
you definitely have to look out for that. That's gonna eventually you get used to it and you just stay
yeah.
away from them.
Well, it's like after I kind of calmed down a bit from Sunday night and Monday night, getting just completely wrecked, I went back in there, I think, on Thursday, and I kind of like, all right, kept the camera zoomed way out, looking off in the distance, future, and I stopped harvesting ore because that was like, no, this is too risky. So
They'll also be on the map as well.
Yeah.
yeah, all these things I discovered, and I was using all these things, but it got to the point where I was like, you know what, I'll just mine for ore another zone.
Well,
So it's
yeah,
Also,
but
because
why?
the quest comes up too, doesn't it? When they get close, the quest ring comes up.
Mhm.
The
yeah,
quest,
but by the
yeah.
time I saw the quest pop, it was usually like, here they
Oh,
come.
they were
Maybe
there.
they're not going to
Yeah.
path in my
Because they're
direction.
on-
Nope, here they come.
They're on horseback.
Well,
yeah, yeah.
There
Yeah,
were
but you
numerous.
You'll be on your war steed when you harvest it, right?
Yeah, and usually by
So
the time the induction for harvesting is done, they're on me. And so I'm trying to run away, and
Yeah.
bam,
We
dismounted.
gotta
and
get
I'm
you. We gotta
running.
get you on a light war steed and like a
I
good.
am
ride.
on a light war steed.
Oh,
You need to invest in endurance.
I'm telling you, it's just like the best policy for me was just to be very, very alert and very wary. So I was like, all right, when
Yeah.
I'm done with the Broadacres,
Yeah.
I will think twice about going back because apparently there's a worse one in the Stone Deans. So I'm like, that's fantastic.
Yes.
If you invest in your war steed health, you can stay
Yeah.
alive pretty well. It's
Yeah.
just you have to do
Okay,
that.
so in contrast to my fatal beatings in the Broadacres, I experienced the most epic, blessed game glitch ever involving Sarah Oakart today when I was trying to help the intro in Breland where you have to go into the Brigand Cave and Amdir breaks out and everybody gets crazy. It stunned, the game glitched, Amdir went out. I couldn't move. I came out of my stun, and Sarah just stood there in the corner of her cell going, help me. Come here. Help me. Help me. And this went on for like 5 minutes. So I filed a ticket, and I'm like, I'm stuck. Sarah won't move. Don't know what her problem is. Help me out.
Beyond the
GM
usual.
comes on. The best part, man. He says, I changed something. What happened? I'm like, well, the mobs got up. I'm on a minstrel. Bam, bam, they're dead. Nothing else. He goes, okay. Click. Instance complete. Yes. Sorry, Sarah. You're stuck in here. Owie. Bye-bye. You lose. I'm like, yeah. So I was like, that was
That's
great.
awesome. That is awesome.
And then after that, I talked and dressed like a pirate. The first time ever I did the Pirate Day questing stuff. I took a level 27 and a level 24 from where you pick up the quest at the Brandywine Bridge near the border of the Shire. Swam all the way up into the middle of Burglarland, Brigand, Evandim. Red and purple mobs all around. Talked to the guy and then swam all the way back down. Got my eye patch, got my hat, very excited. Then I did it again later on a minstrel at level 17. So that was a lot of fun. So I'm very excited about having an eye patch, and I must say that getting that eye patch with the right hairdo makes you go from, wow, he looks fierce, to, oh my gosh, he's going to cut my throat in the middle of the night. Because that minstrel looks fierce.
I have that eye patch on my hobbit. He doesn't look fierce.
Okay, well, I can say hobbits maybe look like a little more pirate teddy bear-ish, but my Gondorian minstrel on Arkenstone looks rough. I like it. So that was my week. Maven, how was yours?
Oh, it was just marvelous. I waited outside the Arboretum while Grifflet wiped trying to do the Grimbark instant twice. I suggested that he titled the name of that episode should be The Agony of Defeats. He was like level, let's see, he was like level 28 and he had like a level 35 and a level 36 with him and they just couldn't, I mean, the second time they got it, Grimbark down to like 3-digit, morale and still, it was so bad. So that happened. I got my Dwarfist eye patch and I have a plan. Every single one of my elves is gonna have an eye patch. It's gonna wear an eye patch. Every one of them. The elves, the men, the hobbits, and the dwarves. They're all gonna wear an eye patch. It's awesome. And under the
Do you have like a story behind that, or just for the heck of it?
3 eye patches were given to the elves, and 7 eye patches were given to the dwarves.
Nine eye patches were given to the men who desire above all else the sight.
No, I'm with Carv. I just think they look cool. My
Desire
my
above all
dwarf
else,
minstrel.
no depth perception.
And I agree with Carv. That eye patch sets off his hairstyle, my dwarf's hairstyle, big time. He just looks really good. So I just decided the girls, the boys, they're all getting eye patches.
I don't know. Eye patches are very bad, I think, for hunters.
One
depth
patch to
perception
rule
goes
them
down.
all.
Well, then
and
I
in
can
the semi
use that as an
darkness
excuse
blind
for
them.
how come I die so much. It's like, what's this eye patch? I have no depth perception. Oy. And under the heading of the Wargification of Maven, I got Maven Potter rank 6. Woohoo! And it was really cool actually on Gladden last night. I'm seeing the effects now of the server transfers because folks who have come into the Moors who don't know the culture of Gladden in Ray. There are some people who lead raids that aren't in favor of wargs, and so I got invited into a warg only fellowship that was awesome because it was a pack, and so the leader would had target assist on, the leader targeted who we went for, and as a pack we would go after the freep, and it was really fun. It was really fun, and I talked to some of the guys afterwards and they were all had all come in from other servers, so it's kind of interesting to start to watch this and then today I was actually at a fellowship where I was the highest ranking person. I was like, okay, Grandpa's gonna be really proud of this. I was at a fellowship.
Yeah.
Person. I was like, dude, that's awesome. But I think all of them were folks who were coming in from other servers, and it's just kind of interesting because they don't know. I mean, I think like these guys came from a server where being a warg is being a warg. It's cool to be a warg, So it was like,
It is
anyway,
cool
that
to
was
be a warg.
Yeah,
that's cool to be a
it's
warg.
the whole
And-
anti-warg thing is only really a couple people, but those couple people
Yeah.
tend to actually be some of the
Couple
best
tend to be
raid leaders, unfortunately.
Yeah, and they're very vocal. And I know from other folks that other servers don't have that issue. It just happens to be on that particular one. But that's okay. That's no big deal. I mean, and I'm fine with that. It's like, we can be a pack and be on the edge of the raid and, do our work thing. It was pretty cool. There was a lot of action too. I mean, I was on for hours, and it's like there was just like loads of people on doing all kinds of stuff. Then what's the word? What's the word? Oh my God, I just lost my word. When we stopped. We lagged. Yeah, there was we lagged really bad in the middle of battles and stuff. But anyway, so that happened. So that was good. So Terry, lay it on us. What was your highlights from the week?
Well, I also finished East and Grundor and caught up on the epic story. Finished Osgiliath with the Andang, actually.
Yeah, lots of fun.
Yeah, it was lots of fun. He was like, I need your help because I can't find where these quests are. And I was looking through my completed log. Let me tell you something. Trying to wait for the game to load my list of completed quests took something like 5 minutes.
Yours took a long time. Mine took about a minute, and I have a pretty fast connection, so I mean, it definitely takes a long time to load those in.
It took a long
Yeah,
time. It was like, yeah, this is going to be a while. Well, because Terry Adwin has also completed the metadeed for 5 or 6 zones.
Oh yeah.
So, and done lots of low level. So she's done a lot of content. And so yeah, that happened. Thought the epic story was pretty cool. Not spoiling anything, but I did read, that last cinematic bit of the instance that you're in, and that your UI goes away and your camera zooms in, and you've got villain dialogue in the floaty text, and I read that in the Andang voice, so out loud. So it's a good thing that I actually am shut behind a door, and people have no clue because sometimes I do actually talk to myself. Um, and I also Tuesday we had most of the group MIA because Carv was sick, and Maven was busy, and so Branhild and Braincroft and I were the only ones who actually showed up. So Sarissa got to play tour guide in Moria, and we completed our Explorer of Khazad-dûm, and
Wow.
discovered that I actually know Moria a lot better than I even thought, because she had done quite a bit of it because she quested Moria, so there were really only a few places that I was missing. He was missing more of it, and of course he was missing like half the Foundations of Stone. So I actually tour guided the Foundations of Stone, which was fantastic. And we're coming back from the Bridge Shard, and there's this Globsnaga Pulpum, the high level dude that's over there, and I start running toward it in stealth because burglar. And this other paired fellowship comes up and starts whacking on the orc, and I'm like, oh no, you don't, that's my orc. And I rush up out of stealth, and I whack it over the head with the rolling pin, and then I beat it over the head with the lantern and kill the thing. Like, I got the killing blow. The message was, Sarissa defeated, your mighty blow is killed, blah blah blah. And I stood there for a minute, and I looked at I turned my character so I was facing the two, and I don't remember which emote I did. I think I did bow or something, and I started running off. And Brand's cracking up in the voice chat, and I was like, yeah, that's right. I did just beat that orc over the head with my rolling pin and my lantern. Thank you very much. I'm just that awesome.
I wish that had been videoed. I would love to
Yeah.
have seen it.
That'd be a nice soundbite at least.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then my Runekeeper, Lashillian, finished the Isengard bits of the Epic Story, Volume 3. This is the fourth character that has done that sequence of instances at the Fort of Eisen, and it's the fourth time that I have been a complete wreck afterwards.
Yeah.
I knew it was coming the first time, so I've known that it was coming every time since then. And it doesn't matter. I still need tissues at hand. It's like, oh my god, and tears are streaming down my face. And so I had to take a break for the day and come back to it later. But she's finished that bit, and she's on her way into Rohan. So she's actually going to be catching up with Staffdang pretty soon because she's not too far away from getting her Warsteed.
Say it ain't so.
It's true. She hit 75. Ding, 75.
Wow.
It was very cool.
Ooh.
So, Pineleaf, what have you been up to?
All right, on Arkenstone, Pineclaw ran several skirmishes with Terry and another kinmate. We running just, I think we ran about six skirmishes, six different skirmishes in there.
Something
Tuckborough.
like that. We let the instance finder decide what a champion and 2B Ornings should do. That was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, we did that a couple of times. Then after the other kin member had to leave, then Terry and I continued with some duos, and that's when we finally decided to try Attack at Dawn and not Attack at Dawn, I mean the Icy Crevasse.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Went better
Ooh.
than Pine expected, actually.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that we taught those Anchormen a lesson.
Keep
mess
in
with
mind,
the
I
bear.
was blue line for that final boss fight, so that helps quite a bit. 'Cause
Yeah, that
champion
did help a
tanking
little
is
bit.
actually pretty good.
All right, so on Landreville, Pine Ring reached level 60 and completed Book 5 in Moria, which meant I did all three of those Book 5 skirmishes there. And that also makes Pine Ring my senior minstrel on Landreville, which was a bit of a strange thing because Pine Song hasn't done much leveling on Landreville recently because Pine Song spends most of her time playing in concerts rather than questing.
Pally, I'd like to point out that you had two qualifiers there. You limited the class, and then you limited also on the server. And so I just find that funny that you have enough characters to be able to say stuff like that.
Well, the reason Pine Ring exists is your fault.
Yeah, I know.
And then on Winfola, in my regular small fellowship skirmish group there, we decided to attempt breaching the Necromancer's Gate with the raid setting. And what we learned there for our lesson of the week is that if you have a small fellowship group running the raid version, it it certainly has a lot less lag than if you're doing it as a full raid. Because no lag whatsoever throughout the entire raid. Of course, we were running into about 4 times as many enemies as we would normally expect to run into, but that was a minor little detail.
So I'm
But we
curious if
did
you're.
get through it without any casualties.
See, that's awesome because I was thinking if you're running a raid level instance with a small fellowship, meaning 3 people attacking a 12-man, with the lack of lag, does that mean you just die faster?
No, none of that happened anymore.
That's
Means
awesome.
you
But of
succeed
course,
faster.
at the end, the rune key, all the drops that we got, I believe the roll for the yeah for whatever the symbol, the roll for the symbol was won by the rune keeper, and I had that roll done before I opened up the second chest, and of course the second chest had all rune keeper gear.
Uh,
So it's like, okay, maybe I shouldn't do it in that order.
all right, so Pine Ring is at level 60. Do you hear that, Terry? You hear that,
I heard.
Mayrin?
I heard.
We are like lagging behind, man.
I
We
know.
gotta step it
We are.
up.
I know. We do need to. We had a very low-toned Monday night
It
with the
didn't
two
make
angry
the
hobbits,
highlights
and
at all.
Yeah,
didn't make
it was
notice it.
pretty.
None of us. Yeah.
What's interesting though,
we
because
have.
we really did have what I consider one of the best 3-man difficulty ratings that I've done in a while. Because it
That's
didn't feel
true. The
like it was too
troll.
hard, but those trolls definitely kicked our bums a little bit.
That troll
Granted,
instance.
they were
Yeah.
all like 3 levels above us, but still, it was fun.
Oh, minor little
It,
detail.
it should have made the
I mean,
highlights, and it's
considering
interesting.
how
None of us actually put for highlights.
well,
You're tr-
well, Terry was on her guard. She was in tank stance, which means she was swinging a wiffle ball bat. I was on my Berg and trickster stance, so I was just throwing dust at people. And you were kind of bouncing back and forth between healing and
Healing
damage,
and
so you were
yeah.
doing half of
Okay.
each.
All right.
Yeah.
I think we are past the point of where we are discussing what we did last week.
That's true. That's true.
So let us head into our skirmish.
Well,
Good
see,
job.
that's an
Good job,
interesting
Pine
point, Pine Leaf, because that skirmish that we were just discussing actually happens
To be
in the zone we're
Aragian.
talking about. Yes.
So
That's
we
right.
will go into and discuss that matter then during the skirmish.
There you
And
go. Barb,
Good
Therefore,
job,
we're
Pine
going
Leaf.
to talk about the pros and
Yeah.
cons of Aragian and Carvet. What point are you on?
I am pro books.
All right. And Maven?
Con books.
Arathair.
Con films.
All right. And Terry Adwin?
Pro films.
And Andy?
I'm pro games, and I'd like to point out Pineleaf is on con, and I think it's because of what I did to him last week. Just saying. I feel like
Saying.
that he's attacking me here. But anyway, continue.
All right. So let's start out with Carvet.
Okay, so Aragian in the books doesn't get a whole lot of information there, but from what I've gleaned, it's where it starts. And by it, I mean the whole one ring to rule them all. Aragian is the zone where the elves are there. Sauron comes sneaking up in disguised as Anatar. He's acting like he's Mr. Joku Smooth, but he's got the whole Heart of Darkness thing going on. He calls everybody, hey, I got this great technology, iPhone. Just kidding. But what he's saying is that he's got this awesome stuff. And so they start learning things, and they're doing their deal, and they're using the lore, and they're forging, and they're doing all this great stuff with the rings. And Eregion was this beautiful place. And it was peaceful because they had the dwarves with trade, and things were great. And then everything goes to pot because, Sauron's a jerk, and he rips everybody off. And, I mean, war happens, and the place gets trashed. The orcs move in, property values plummet. I mean, it ended horribly. But when it comes right down to it, I think Aragon's really cool because it's where you see the seeds of this mess like resurface. It's almost like that zit that won't go away. It kind of happens again, and Aragon's the center of it. So I think
That's
that's
a really
really
good
neat.
point. Cool.
All right. And Maven, what are the cons for the book?
Well, actually, Carv said it in the very beginning of his pro, which is there's just not enough. This is one of those areas where Tolkien was he said it really well in a letter to his son, and I wish I could quote it verbatim, but he was very good at, and I think this is what makes the story so good, at leaving some pieces unsketched. He'd kind of tell sort of a general story of a place or of an event, but leaves the rest of it sort of hanging. And I've always felt like Oregon was one of those places, just what Carv was saying. I mean, I'd like to know more about that story. I wish this had been one of the places where he did feel moved to write more about it. So, when I think about Oregon and all of this, maybe, and I always think to myself, well, maybe I'm just not paying attention, but I don't think that's it. I just don't think there's a lot written about it. And I just really wish there was more because, like Carv said, this is really where that whole thing this is the root cause. This is the root of the ring kind of thing, and it would have been nice to have had more from the professor on this. And so that's really the only con about it. It's just, I wish this hadn't been one of the areas he felt that would be worth leaving dangling.
Well, they went through there very quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could have had one less paragraph about horses and one more paragraph about the elves.
And in the appendices too, I mean, he could have even if he didn't want to put it in the main story, he could have written a little bit more, and maybe taken a little bit out of the genealogies or something.
It's all about the stupid horses.
Yes.
And their lords.
Something about the books and Tolkien's own depiction of Eregion is it's strangely, like, for how descriptive Tolkien is on everything else, it's strange how nondescript Eregion kind of tends to be.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I think you're right. It could be that they went through it very quickly and almost entirely at night.
Well, it's interesting that Inedwythe is right next to it, and it's also not very, touched on either. So it's just.
Well, but if I take
and Dunland,
the
for
whole,
that matter.
if I expand out and think in terms of the books including like the Silmarillion, there could have been more told about.
Well,
oh yeah,
area.
definitely.
What can you say about Eregion, this area there? Because it's winter, so therefore it's not going to be the most exciting, at its most exciting and beautiful point at that time.
No, but what I actually mean is I wish he had talked more about the Second Age stuff, with Holland and the elves and the dwarves, living in harmony together and that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's
so
surprising
not so
how
much
touch on that.
Lord of the Rings specific, but his legendarium in general. I wish he'd gone into that more.
Who wants to hear about elves and dwarves living in harmony?
Dogs and
Boring.
cats living
Oh,
together.
just
Mass
stop.
hysteria.
Right.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, there
actually,
is one
that's
really...
actually.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I was going to say that actually is a good point because he did actually tell the story of Sauron being all cool and gorgeous and wonderful in the Numenor story. So maybe that's one of the reasons why he didn't do the Eregion, because it would just be a repeat of what he did to the Numenorians.
That's a good point, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
As has been described, the sexy Sauron stage.
Yeah,
Sexy.
and it's definitely the same routine, and it worked once before, so let's do it again. And,
Right, let's do it again.
It's like the infection that won't go away; it just keeps coming back. But there was one thing in Eregion that I remembered that happened that really kind of illustrates the kind of battle they're fighting. Because yes, there's the physical enemy they're fighting, but there's also that incident on the knoll where they're in the middle of the night, they're being chased by wargs. They have this huge fight. Gandalf is throwing fire. Legolas is dropping arrows. But when the fight's over and dawn comes, there's no bodies.
That's one of my
There's
favorite.
just charred stuff everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's arrowheads from where the flames had consumed the shaft. But there was no warg bodies.
Right.
Which lets you know that the power they were fighting over the night was actually the forces of shadow. And it really kind of sets off more, I think, than some of the Ringwraith stuff. The enemy they're fighting is not just evil things, it's like pure evil force. And I thought that was really cool how that particular, and this is like a real short passage in the book, it's only like maybe a page and
It
a half.
is. It's one of my favorite scenes in the
yeah.
book, and he never explains it. It's
No,
never
it's
ever
just like
explained
there.
ever. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the scene with the wargs and they disappear, and then he never really goes back to it. And I always liked that scene. I was like, I can't believe Jackson didn't put that in, given the other stuff he put in. Why didn't he put that scene in? But
Yeah.
anyway, but Pine, to your point, actually, you're right. I mean, he probably felt like he said enough. I mean, just the sentence, "The elves and dwarves lived in harmony here," probably, I mean, Tolkien's probably like, what else do you say? So that's true. I mean, what else are you going to say? But anyway, I just kind of, and I probably didn't really notice the lack of this until I started playing the game.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, oh, I'm interested in this area. Well, what did Tolkien say about it? Not a lot.
Well, I think what says it all is that the secret password they had at the gates was
right. It's cantaloupe.
written right on top of the thing. Say friend and enter. Yes.
That's right.
They broke the password on top of the door.
Right.
Well, those were friendly.
That was good. So in case you forget, I mean, I should do that with my computer passwords.
Yes.
Because you forget, it's just right there.
Dell.
All right. Let's go to the films. And Aerithert, you wanted to speak about the cons?
Yeah. I think the main con of the film is that there's just not a lot there.
What a shock!
I know, right?
And that's pretty much it.
All
right.
Zip through it right
Terry.
Terry?
Well, that con is also my pro. There's kind of not a lot there. It's apparently Tolkien didn't find much interesting to write about it, aside from the one scene that Maven talked about that apparently Jackson didn't think was important enough to put in there because he was just trying to hurry it along the way.
They put a little bird spy scene in there where birds come fly over.
You have the bird spy scene over the Karathras, which is a little odd. It's Works would have been better, but maybe I don't know. Maybe because it wasn't explained in the book why it happened the way it did. I don't know. That's some other discussion. Anyway, not a lot there because what happens isn't really a whole lot. And the faster we can get through that region and get to Gandalf and the Balrog, the better. Because really, that's the important part of the first book.
Is it just me, or is the word Eregion just not mentioned in the movie at all? You just kind of have to know the geography enough. Yeah? Because you almost have to know the geography enough to go, well, let's see, if they're leaving Rivendell, then my mental Tolkien map says they had to travel south through Eregion to get to the Gates of Moria. So the Crebain would, of course, been done coming up through Enedwaith. And Karis Ketter, okay, good, yeah, all right. And you almost have to kind of extrapolate where they were. I mean, I liked how they used that time in the journey because there wasn't really a whole lot going on story-wise from Tolkien's side of the house, and there wasn't really a whole lot going on in terms of what they were traveling through lore-wise to explore. So they used that time in the narrative of the story in the movie to kind of develop the camaraderie amongst the characters, especially how the hobbits were learning some of their sword maneuvers, and we see that Boromir isn't a complete jerk, and he's kind of having some fun with Merry and Pippin, and you see some of the camaraderie and the fellowship developing there, which kind of makes it was good use of that region for that particular purpose.
And there's Craven.
And there's Kerban. It's just a wisp of a cloud.
Yeah.
And it's moving opposite the wind.
Legolas, what do your elf eyes see?
They're taking the hobbits to Isengard. Go. Sorry.
All right, ending. What are the pros for the game?
Yes, well, there's several, I think. For starters, the epic story ends in Eregion for Volume 1. And the ending to that part is just beyond anything that had happened to that point and possibly since then. I mean, you get this huge showdown between one of the big villains and one of the people who is a hero NPC that may or may not have always been a hero NPC. And so it's really cool to see that dynamic between the two of them going back and forth and taking place there in the historical place where a lot of things that go along with the rings took place. And so it's just a nice ending to that story that really fits thematically. Also, it's one of the most fun zones for me anyway to quest in, at least before you go into the second half of LOTRO. It's just a lot of fun to go through there, and it flows really, really well. It's one of the best early areas, best flowing early areas before they start revamping everything. and so they did a really good job designing it. The only con for the zone, which
Oh no, you're trying to step in my
I
You
know,
don't-
but
you don't
I'm
steal Putney's thunder.
okay. Go ahead, Pineleaf. I'll get to it.
All right, I've got 2 points here. The first one is, despite what Anding said, that is not the last end of Volume 1.
It's
Yes, I
pretty
thought Volume
close.
1 ended up
It's
like
close, but
Magmar.
it's not the finale.
Where does that take
The
place?
big finale is up in Angmar.
Yeah. It's in
Oh,
Carn
I
Doom.
thought it was at the Ring Forges.
No, it's up in Carden Doom.
Okay.
You're thinking about the penultimate.
Yeah, but there
The
is a
big
point
reveal.
where they take over your
The
camera, and that's
reveal
pretty
before
cool.
the reveal. Yeah, that is
Yes.
cool.
But the other thing, though, is concerning the flow of the quests in this area is the number of times you go back and forth,
Oh.
back and forth.
That is
back
yo-yo questing at its
and
finest right
forth.
there.
It's like, you want to go here? Oh,
Bill.
you found this. Oh, you found this axe? Oh, okay, go and get some axes from the Dunlendings. Oh, you brought some axes from the Dunlendings? Okay, go and kill some Dunlendings. What do you? I just killed a bunch of them. Then, you kill some Dunlendings? Now go and kill their chief. And it happens in every single area.
It
Every
really
hub.
does.
It does. It's the ultimate yo-yo quest chain. It's
Yes.
go out, come back, go out, come back, go out, come back. Okay, you're good. We're gonna turn the hand. Now go out, come back, go out, come back, go out, come back. It's like, oh.
And the area that has the half-orcs and the worms in there, they have 2 quest hubs that yo-yo you there into that area. Ah!
Yeah, and I noticed that when I was going through there on my minstrel that I rolled recently, it was like, okay, they're gonna go there, they're gonna send us back. Sounds good. All right, we're gonna go to the next place. They're gonna send us out. We're gonna come back. They're gonna send us out again. We're gonna come back. They're gonna send us out again. We're gonna come back. They're gonna send us out again.
Right.
It got really old after doing that for a few hours. I will say
Yeah.
that.
And after you do that all those times, then you go to the area where the ring forges are,
And there's nothing.
get into that area, and they do a
And
couple of quests and say, oh, find the school and library, you're done here. Blip, blip, that's all, folks.
That's all, folks. Yeah,
That's
it's like-
because it's part of the epic story when they take you in there. I still
that was
think
confusing to me. I was really expecting there to be a whole lot more than that.
Yeah.
When I finished, I was like, oh, that was it? Okay.
Hello, welcome to Eckhart Mirabel. I hope you enjoy your short stay.
Yeah.
And they put the only legendary item forge is
I could
at
remember.
Eckhart Mirabel.
Mhm.
It'd be really nice and convenient if we're at Eckhart Dunan instead.
Or an Ekat anywhere else.
Yes. Okay, Anding, what were you going to say about your cons?
Well, first of all, I think I need to re-go through my pros after that. That was harsh, man. I feel like, you do go back and forth a lot, but you went back and forth everywhere in LOTRO at that time, so I don't think that that's really anything
That's one of
different.
the worst offenders.
Moria was
I would
way
say.
worse.
Maybe it was. I don't know if it still is or not.
Anyway, my con was that they didn't do anywhere near enough with the mountain area in this zone. You go up there and then it's like there's a few frozen things and you find a body and like that's it.
Spoilers.
That's not it. There's a whole yo-yo section in there. I get sent through at
There's
least
like
3
three
times.
times you have to go back up.
You
to there
do,
and
but
do
there's
stuff.
nothing there. And so that's what I'm saying is
There's a pass
they could
that's
have
been
put a lot
snowed
more interesting
under.
things
they
in
could
there.
have done a
Supposedly-
lot of stuff with that, had something in there. Maybe did something with the mountain because that's part of the story is why they couldn't go over there was because of the mountain.
But that's
And-
the point.
Yeah,
The
that's
point
why
is-
they have the entire thing about why the Grims are so angry and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and why you investigate
because
that.
they couldn't have gone because this is supposed to be you're following the footsteps of the Fellowship, and Karadras had already said no, none shall pass, sucker, and he caused an avalanche and said forget it, it ain't happening. So you find yourself questing in a zone where the mountain, for whatever reason, there's an avalanche and you can't go back up in there. You'd have to break out a snowplow and some Arctic climbers to get to where the Fellowship was, which is why you find the Grims and the campsite and the whole shebang there.
Right. But my point is, I went up there and was expecting a lot, and then was just so disappointed by it because it was just Okay, there's a few Grims. I can
Andang,
kill
I thought
those
you were a
pretty
pro
easily.
gamer.
That's not... Whatever. And if I remember right, they don't even attack you.
No, they're
Those
just
It
Grims
depends on
don't.
which
chaos.
set of Grims you're talking about, because there
Yeah.
are Grims in there that attack.
No, there's like these 4 or 5
Yeah,
along the
there's like
path
four
that
or
are just
five,
like,
and they look
sup,
like
man?
that. They look like a developer just like plopped them down and forgot like they were doing a test area. And so, but the reason that I was going to mention that during my pro was because that's technically not part of Eregion. If you think about the actual region of Eregion, that's part of the Misty Mountains. Technically, it's just the way LOTRO's set up. That's part of the zone. And so that's why I was saying that that's still pro, because the place I don't like about it was technically not part of Eregion. So.
Depends what you mean by technically. But all right, that's all
Well,
right.
one of the things I do appreciate about the game is that the aforementioned warg scene is actually in the game. You get to see the aftermath of it, and there are a
Yeah.
couple of quests that take you up on top of that knoll. And I remember that was one of those oh my gosh, LOTRO moments for me. Was questing through a rig and going, okay, this is kind of cool. This is kind of cool. Man, there's a lot of wargs around here. Everything's burned up. Wait a second. Oh, I know where we are, getting all
Yeah.
excited about an adaptation from the book that wasn't in the movie directly into the game. So I'm going, yes, I know what this is. Plus, if you are questing and basically living off of quest gear, Aragian has got some of the best gear to get you prepped for Moria than
Really
anything
does.
what's that place called? Eriador.
Yeah,
Aragian's got some nice gear.
yeah, that, and there's also a change in the way quests work, to where it changes over to a more Moria style in terms of storytelling and things like that from the previous areas. And so it's interesting because you could start to see like the new tech they were using with Moria and things like that. You could tell that it was this new thing that was not the same as the rest of everything you'd been to up to that point.
Very well then. We currently have 17 supporters on Patreon. If you would like to join this illustrious raid of players and help support LOTRO players, simply go to the donations page where you could support the Players Alliance on Patreon. There you will find rewards, including a mention on the podcast of your choice, or even be a guest for an episode of LOTRO Players News. And how far are we from the next goal?
Pineleaf, we're $3.89 away from
89 cents?
Yeah, there's been someone with 11 cents for a while, and so that's why we've been saying less than however many dollars. But because we're so close to our next goal, I made sure to point out that it's $3.89 away from a 1-year VIP code for DDO, which would be just amazing. We'd be giving that away on DDO players, and then right after that, there's a LOTRO players giveaway for a 1-year VIP on the next goal. So we're getting close to some big, big goals. So would love your guys' support.
All right. We did not receive any emails or reviews this week, but if you would like to send us an email, you could send it to podcast@lotroplayers.com. You could also follow us at Twitter, the Players Alliance @PlayersAlly, Lotro Players @LotroPlayers, Andang @PVMP_Andang, Erithert @Erithert, Carvet @CarvetLP, Maven @TolkienMaven, Pineleaf @PineleafNeils, Terry Adwin @TerryAdwin. The Players Alliance has 2 live shows every single week. On Mondays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have DDO Players News. And on Saturdays at 8:30 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, we have LOTRO Players News. You can also join us for our live shows at lotroplayers.com/live. And thank you everyone for listening. This is Pineleaf News reminding you to skirmish responsibly.